Good evening. Welcome to the Maysville Board of Commissioners, Thursday, March the 13th, 2025. We will begin with our invocation, Reverend Lease.
Shall we pray? Gracious Father, we come before you. We thank you for the beautiful blue skies and the warm sunshine that reminds us of your goodness. Father, we're also thankful for this community. We thank you for each and every one of the individuals that work so hard for this community, the sacrifices and hard work that they put forth. We just thank you for them, and we just pray your blessings upon them. We do ask your blessings upon this meeting this evening. May everything we do be for your glory. It's in Christ's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Lease. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Here.
Commissioner McKay?
Here.
Mayor Cotterill?
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager Wallingford?
Here.
City Attorney Cottle?
Here.
Controller Radosta?
Here.
HR Director Rose?
Here.
Project Coordinator Horde?
Here.
Public Works Director King?
Here.
Police Chief Palmer?
Here.
Fire Chief Carpenter?
Here.
Utility Manager Spence?
Here.
Zoning Administrator Larger?
Here.
Building Inspector Fawcett?
Here.
Codes Officer Brooks?
Here.
Tourism Director Bailey?
Here. Thank you. Also joining us this evening is Mason County Judge Executive Owen McNeil and County Commissioner Joe McKay. Thank you for being here. Minutes of the February 13th, 2025 meeting and department reports.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept as presented.
Second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cotterill?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to add in here the appointment of Desiree Chambers Perry to the Buffalo Trace ad as a citizen member.
Okay, Mayor, who is she replacing?
Mr. Bill Boggs,
Okay,
who retired off.
okay. I'll make that motion.
Second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill?
Yes, ma'am. Public announcements.
One thing that I'd like to bring up real quick is we are into spring, and we'd like to propose that our quarterly cleanup be April 4th through April 14th. That would get us right before Easter. And what, same locations as usual, and we'll get all that posted out and out to media and social media. Does that sound good to everybody? Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You and I
Okay.
discussed a while back about striping 3rd and 4th Street. Have you talked to
Yes,
Luke
I've
about
already,
that?
yep, I've talked to both of them, yep, yep. We
Do
get
you have a
the,
date or anything?
no, we
or-
want to make sure that, obviously, today would have been perfect, but they've got some other projects to make sure the temperature is good.
Okay.
Yes, they're aware, Luke and David both.
Thank you. on the
Okay,
cleanup
so that's
facility.
good on the cleanup, okay. You got it?
Any other public announcements?
Yes, right here.
On February 2nd, 2025, the Maysville Fire Department responded to an incident for a female that had passed out. When our crews arrived on scene, they found out that woman was in cardiac arrest and 37 weeks pregnant. So they went to work doing CPR and doing ALS procedures. They transported the Mediview. When they got to Mediview, they continued that service and worked with the ER staff, with the ER doctors. During that time, the Dr. Akers, the OB, arrived on scene and they continued working the lady and during the emergency C-section. Once they did the C-section and the baby was delivered, our crews also helped with the baby and mom. And during that time, they were able to get mom and baby back. And they stayed with the patient even through the OR procedure. And after the OR procedures, we flew both baby and the mommy out. And hopefully, as of Friday, the mom will be going home with the baby.
Congratulations.
So that is an
Good job.
amazing feat. And how many, like Chicago Fire and Grey's Anatomy fans we have out there. When
Yeah.
you watch those shows, as a medical professional, we watch those shows, we say, man, that never happens. And this was one of them incidents that we say that never happens. And the work they did, it's all on them. They did a great job. So thank you guys. So we're gonna give them the certificate of honor. This is in recognition of their exceptional performance and dedication during an EMS run on 2/2/25. Their unwavering commitment, skills, and professionalism has made a significant impact on this community, showcasing the true spirit of service and heroism. So first off, Derek Dole. Lieutenant Figgins. Casey Appleman. Dean Riggins. And I'm gonna quote Casey for a little bit. Dr. Akers was supposed to be here today, and she was excited to be here, and it was gonna be a big surprise. But then she's on call, and guess what? She's working. So she's probably delivering another young one. So we'd rather her do that than be here. And I'm gonna quote Casey on this. During that whole procedure, when Dr. Akers came in and did her stuff, and we always do a or a post-incident briefing, and we get the guys together and ask, it can be mentally and physically tough to do this stuff. And so during that, he said the quote, which is probably the best compliment you could ever get from a fireman. He said, Dr. Akers is BA. And I'll let you all guess what BA means. So, and I wish Dr. Akers was here to hear that, because that's probably the biggest compliment you can get from a fireman. And so, and Dr. Akers said the same thing about the Maysville Fire Department. So, thank you all.
Great job.
Hey, Matt, can we get a picture with all of them?
I would say George Clooney, our own George Clooney, was the star of the television show ER.
Yeah, what is it?
What,
I'm
can
sorry.
we get all of them and get a photo of Chief
Yeah,
and those?
sure. Y'all wanna come up here? Come up here.
So online can see it. Like and subscribe, That's what
In there, Figgins. All right, you guys look right here. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Presentation TAP grant project proposal by Strand Associates.
Mayor and Commissioners, I'd like to welcome Matt McMacken and Chelsea Burke from Strand and Associates, and they're going to give you all a brief presentation on the TAP sidewalk project so far and where they are. Now I will bring the lights. Floor is yours.
Thank you so much to the board and everyone for hosting us today and giving us a little bit of time to give you an update on where we are on this sidewalk project. And so we put together just a quick presentation to show you what that entails, if you're familiar with it or whether you're not. This current sidewalk project, we're calling the TAP sidewalk project. It's got a TAP federal grant with it. And we're making sure to use that because that one's on this side of the flood wall, and there's also a flat grant project that's on the other side, on the river side. So they can get mixed up pretty easily there. So a little bit of project background for this project. This has transportation alternatives, TAP federal funding that was awarded to the city. And that comes with a local match that's also been awarded as a grant from the state's grant matching program. So there's federal and state money here really coming together to be able to put together a pretty good project for not a lot of local dollars. So this current project that we're working on now starts at 2nd and Wall Street, where the last sidewalk project ended that was done in 2019, and proceeds through town, through Limestone, past Limestone Landing, down 2nd Street, out towards the River Park on Main Street. And so the goal of that is to connect everything through there with a sidewalk with an appropriate facility that everyone can get to, provide access to all those facilities. You know, there's some amount of sidewalk between there now, but we'd really like to make sure that link is complete and make sure people are able to access all these amenities and get to where they need to go in town. And so our objectives here, as we've looked at it, are to construct new sidewalk, but not really, what we've gotten into as we've looked at this project is not just building new sidewalk everywhere just to spend the money on it. There's a lot of places along Second Street and along this corridor that already have good sidewalks that, you know, are in good shape, they're usable, and so we're gonna really try to make the money go as far as it can, make the improvements where they need to be made, and make use of the existing sidewalk and existing features when we have them, so that we can make sure we get that link, because it's quite a long distance too. You know, 1.4 million sounds like a lot of money, but when you look at inflation, the rising costs of construction here, you gotta make sure every dollar goes as far as you can. And so where we are right now, we're wrapping up our preliminary engineering evaluation. We've been working with folks at the city, been working with stakeholders along the corridor at some, what I'll say, key areas where there's a little bit of a question as to what that facility looks like, to develop, you know, our preferred alternative as far as what the sidewalk looks like, identify what we think that's gonna cost, and if we can save any money anywhere without, identify any other impacts. As of right now, we don't expect any right-of-way acquisition or need for easements on this project, which is gonna be helpful both to the cost of it and also to the schedule, to not have to go through that process of purchasing easements. And along with that stakeholder involvement, we've worked with the medical center, the Ledger Independent property just in front of Limestone Landing, and then Hardyman's Lumber out towards Hardyman's Landing, as well as a couple areas that we'll get into here. And so I've got Chelsea here is with me, and she's gonna talk through just a brief overview of a couple of these areas and a little bit more detail of what this project is proposing to do.
Yeah, so here's kind of the aerial view of McDonald Parkway. So like Matt said, we start here on the left at Wall Street and then work our way towards Limestone. There'll be just some spot improvements on Wall Street at the existing sidewalk and ramps. And then moving along McDonald on the north side, we'll be installing new sidewalk. And that will be from Wall Street to Market Street. In front of the French Quarter Inn, there's already existing sidewalk that we'll be utilizing. And then there is also already sidewalk on the south side of McDonald. I think the other kind of thing to note here is that the sidewalk installation will be pushing into the existing roadway. So the big difference in the streetscape through here will be that there will not be on-street parking. The parking will be utilized by the public parking spaces, or lots, I should say, that are denoted on this aerial. And then, so once we move kind of along McDonald, we hit Limestone Street, and the big improvement to there will be right there in front of the Ledger Independent building. And that will just be converting some parking to parallel, some existing perpendicular parking to parallel, and installing a sidewalk connection there. So here's just a couple photos of some of those existing conditions. So here on the left, you see Wall Street. That's kind of the big repair area that this project will take care of. And then that middle picture is McDonald Street. You can kind of see what that looks like as far as the, pushing into the road. We'll have some storm drain modifications. And the big reason, and it's a little hard to see here, but you can kind of see some existing utilities are right off of the existing street. So just to minimize any kind of utility impacts or anything like that, that's why we'll be pushing into the road there to just streamline that process. And then here on Limestone, these are those parking spots that I was talking about. We'll be installing a sidewalk right here, kind of in between the wall and new parallel parking spots. So then moving on to kind of Second Street, we start, this aerial here kind of takes you from Bridge Street all the way to Poplar Street. We'll be doing a little bit of improvements there at Bridge Wood Street. The sidewalk's just pretty narrow around that radius, so we'll be widening that out to meet ADA requirements. And just some minor kind of striping modifications right there on Wood Street. Then kind of moving down Second Street, the modifications along Second Street are really more of those spot improvements that Matt was talking about. We won't be installing, any brand new sidewalk. It's just working to improve what's already out there to make it more accessible and ADA friendly. And then the other kind of thing to note here is we'll be providing a connection down Commerce Street to Hardyman Landing, and that will just be a sidewalk on the east side of Commerce Street, and that's to provide a connection, ADA accessible connection to the River Park Flap project that was mentioned earlier. So then moving on, kind of to the second half of Second Street here. From Wood Street to Main Street. Again, along Second Street, we'll just be kind of hitting those spot improvements. There's a few more difficult ramps along the second half of Second Street where there's some existing steps. I'll show a couple pictures here in this next slide too that I think will speak to that. And so Wood Street and Lee Avenue will have a little bit more improvements when it comes to the actual existing infrastructure there due to those steps. Once we get to Main Street, we'll be installing new sidewalk on the east side for kind of this second half of Main Street, and that'll also, and as well as installing a kind of entrance ramp up to the existing steps that make their way up the flood wall there. Again, this connection off of Main Street will also connect to that flat project. Just this route will not be technically ADA accessible because of the steps that they'll have to access. So that's where that Commerce Street really provides a good connection for folks there. So here's some of those photos that I was talking about. The one here on the left is Wood Street. You can see here there's a couple existing steps to get down to the roadway. On the left side, we'll be able to just kind of modify that ramp with grades and just existing sidewalk. On the right side, you can kind of notice here that the foundation and building is a little bit more utilized by this step and platform. So we're proposing to kind of install a ramp that comes down and takes over this kind of no parking zone. And then ramps back up on the other side where there's also a no parking zone. Then kind of these other photos show the other side of Wood Street. Again, we'll be able to just kind of utilize a new ramp there and not have to get into a bunch of modifications, as well as on the bottom right-hand photo at Lee Avenue. And I think the other kind of thing to note here is, again, we will not be impacting any of these properties or needing any acquisition for anyone. So that kind of wraps up the design portion of it. And now we get into kind of the overall just kind of construction budget. You can see here we've kind of broke out those major sections. You can see the kind of heavy hitters are McDonald Parkway and then the Second Street upgrades. But you can notice here our total is a couple $100,000 less than the construction budget. So what we kind of plan on doing with the project and plan submittal will be using bid alternates and just basically trying to include as much spot improvements and construction as we can with the funding that we have. But while staying under budget. So that's kind of the goals there. One thing also to note with these costs is the numbers that you see here, they don't include the engineering and kind of construction inspection, but the grant did. So that is all encompassed with the grant and the grant program. So just so you know, those numbers are slightly different. And then lastly is just kind of to go over the next steps for this project. We plan on kind of finalizing the preliminary design, within the next month. We'll have a PL&G review meeting with KYTC District 9. And then from there, we'll go into preparing the construction documents. We'll also be relying on an environmental document from KYTC, and then obviously get into our permits and obligate that construction funds for hopefully an advertisement sometime this winter. So there's kind of the overview of the project, now we can open it up to any questions that anyone has.
So actual timeline, we're looking at next year, 2026, spring.
Yes.
Construction on ground.
Any other questions? Thank you both for being here and for helping us with this project. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm honored to do it, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well done.
Discussion fiscal year 2026 budget and current police department budget.
Mayor, Commissioners, what I'd like to do first is I'd like to ask Chief Palmer to go over his current fiscal year 25 budget and a proposal to shake things up between this budget and next year's budget. Chief?
Yes, thank you, and I'll be brief. As you know, as I've briefed you on many times in open session and in closed session, we've been trying to hire somebody since July of last year, and we still have 4 open spots. And we've given the test several times and been through at least 50+ candidates. We're actually giving the test again tonight. But I also have a duty as the chief of police to be fiscally responsible with my budget. And I have a line item in the budget that you guys graciously approved for this year, which for 2 vehicles. I'm coming to you to ask you to reallocate that money because I have a definitely urgent need to upgrade body cameras and also upgrade tablets in the cars because the Windows is not going to be supported after October of this year.
Yeah.
So, am I going to need cars? Yes. But right now, do I have the rear ends to stick in them? No, I do not. Am I working on that? Yes, I am. And that is a challenge. But also, I think the integrity of our department, the integrity of our officers, and I think, even with a member of Mr. Estel's council here, the body cameras are something that I will not police without. And it's time they need to be upgraded. They're 5, 6 years old now. The batteries are starting to wear down. I have got a proposal from Bright, who we went in with last year, both on body cameras and on tablets. My standing here in front of you today is to ask, to reallocate the line item for my cars to at least get body cameras. And then I will speak to you about the tablets for next year's budget. Because we'll have to have them by October next year. And this time next year, I'll probably be hopefully looking at a vehicle,
Do
but
you need a motion for that?
No, just a consensus.
I just want to.
Yeah, the money's there.
I just couldn't, again, just like I said, I did not feel right purchasing these vehicles. I don't have
Yeah.
the people. And it's, we are trying diligently to hire officers. Assistant Chief Connolly and Lieutenant Poe giving the test right now. And it's just a challenge, is basically what it is. And I would like to reallocate that line item to upgrade my
okay
body
with that.
cameras.
I'm
Or,
okay with
and again, I will talk to you again at budget for the tax. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
And then the other item, I would like to get your thoughts on starting the process for our next fiscal year budget. I want your ideas on how you want to go about it, what you'd like to do. Most, if not all, department heads have met with Joseph to go over requests for fiscal year '26. And he has even gone on and put together a preliminary draft of the FY '26 budget. So, we're ready anytime you guys are to start having a discussion on things. What I'd probably recommend is that we start off with having some preliminary numbers, and then having all the department heads go over their needs, what their needs are for fiscal year '26, and then we can start breaking down and getting more into the weeds, if that makes sense. And I'd be happy to throw some dates out to you for possibly, maybe towards the end of the month, and get the ball started. But if you all have any questions or suggestions, I'm open, and I'll do whatever you guys guide me to do.
That sounds good.
Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Continue with
Okay.
the department heads.
Yeah, we'll start with them and have them come in front of the five of you to talk about their needs for FY '26. We can start with that. Okay?
And will you give us dates tonight, or are you going to send us?
I'll get with you. I'll shoot some stuff out tomorrow. If that's okay.
And we'll have budget workshop. Right?
Yes, that's what we'll do. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else, Matt?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Street sweeper?
Yes, we have, as obviously y'all are well aware, we have purchased a newer street sweeper. And therefore, in order for it to be effective, we need to get vehicles off of the road. And currently, our ordinance states that sweeper runs April 1st through November 30th, I do believe, yes. So it would start April 1st, which is a Tuesday. And what I would like to do, working with Chief Palmer and the police department, is for the month of May to give out warnings.
You mean
So that,
April?
or excuse me, for month of April, thank you. For the month of April is for the PD to give out warnings, to try to get folks acclimated to moving their vehicles again. Because again, if vehicles are on the street, we risk hitting a vehicle with a street sweeper, and that has happened before. So it's a lot easier, it's a lot more efficient if the vehicles are not on the street. But I just wanted to inform you all, and then what I'll do is I'll work with Luke and Chief Palmer to get a post out on Facebook and an article in the Ledger to inform folks that we're getting back into it again. That's good with everybody. Yes, sir.
There was a time when certain streets petitioned to be excluded.
Yes.
I rode through Old Eastland again. And some of those streets, you take Arrington Avenue,
Yeah.
there's nowhere to park. The other streets that I had concerns last time, there's plenty. I mean, they can move, they're just gonna have to walk.
Sure.
But there are certain areas up there that
Deerfield was on the list, I think Arrington, Walnut. There was a couple more that was on.
There was a section of the section of Union Street between the tracks and Forest Avenue.
There were several of them that was on the.
Well, I went up there from Florence, Wood, and Central, because there used to be a lot of cars, but I went up there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and either they were out of town, but I wasn't concerned as much as I am with that Arrington Avenue. I used to live on that. There wouldn't be 10 cars out on the street, but they're on both sides.
Right.
If it's not on the what I would call the takeoff list, do you all want us to take that off? If you do, we will start by we won't sweep it, but then we'll need to do an ordinance to officially take it off. But if you all give us a consensus, we won't. I'll have whoever's driving the sweeper. We won't do it. But, you know, it's also good to talk with the folks who live up there, because some of them might want their street sweep.
Well,
That's
yeah,
what I
I'm
think.
You
sure,
know.
but that's another thing.
Yeah.
Are we going to notify them? Because not everybody gets the paper, not everybody.
Oh, yeah.
gets to
I mean,
direct to the radio station.
yeah, I would
I'd
use.
be willing to take a few streets if you all provide the flyers.
Well, I mean, are you all, it is narrow, don't get me wrong. But are you getting concerns or complaints from residents on any other streets that would like to be taken off?
Oh, no. Not
Okay.
since the last time
Okay.
we stopped.
Now, and what we can do is obviously, we can start this back up. And then if we get a petition from a street or folks on a street, we can take it off immediately, but then we can amend the ordinance to officially take it off. If you'd like to go that way, yes.
What about Force Joe?
What
Oh,
about
sorry,
Third
Joe,
and
yeah.
Fourth?
Yeah. Because, and that's obviously because of the narrowness of the street.
Will you still clean it?
I can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah, he was asking about Fourth Street, and if it, because it's narrow, you have parking on one side, if we were still gonna clean it. I think it's still on, it's still on the list. Now, Joe, if there was a consensus from the folks who live there, that you wanted that, let's say from Market to Limestone taken off, just let me know, and we can take it off if you. But you may have folks who want their street. You know what I mean?
Would we penalize if they park across the street?
No, because no.
Yeah, where the no.
Well, that'd be a question for Chief, because it narrows.
The north side of it, Park Pavilion, there would be a roadway. I mean, you know how narrow it is on the north side of the road, so I don't think you can do that.
That's the only thing. Because of where the center line is.
Right. That's narrow as narrow can be once you start parking on that side of the road.
You want to talk to the folks there on your block and just let me know what the consensus is, and we'll do whatever the citizens want.
Yeah, I hear.
You got time. We got time. Just touch base with me. And if you, go ahead, Chief.
Same thing up where, Hazelwood Hospital. Yes.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
that area
That's
up to
true.
the museum.
Yep.
They can't park on the south side of the street.
Right,
So if they
right.
park on it, 'cause it would just jam it right down, because you barely got a lane on the north side of the street, even when you park over there. I mean, it's narrow.
You're talking on Third Street west from Wall.
Fourth Street.
Fourth Street.
Fourth Street.
Fourth Street, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Across from the hospital.
yeah. What about Third Street?
We can't do
Wait.
Third Street. We can't do West Third
What I'm
from,
saying,
yeah.
from, when you go up Wall Street and turn right.
Wall Street, we won't do either.
Yeah.
It's on the list, not.
We can't go from Wall out to Germantown Road,
Right,
and it's just,
right.
it's too
Oh,
narrow.
well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
take it
yeah,
off the
it's,
list.
yeah, it's off. We don't
Okay.
even do it.
Okay.
Currently not.
But if you all hear from anybody, you know, have them give you a petition or get with you and then touch base with me, we'll take them off. I mean, it's not a big deal, but obviously, you know, again, you do have some folks who want their street clean,
Yeah,
some who don't, and we understand that. But we'll work with
I
people.
wouldn't anticipate hearing from anybody that didn't hear from the last time.
Right, and all those we've got taken off. Yeah, a lot of them we do. But just keep me in the loop if you hear
probably
from
down
anybody.
on West Second Street above me going east. There's just off-street parking, because you can't
There's
park
just-
on the other side.
Right, there's that one section that opens up and that's it.
Yeah.
And I believe it's
That's
on there,
probably-
isn't it?
That's
Where is
probably,
West Second, you know where it opens up there on the north side, around the 500 block?
I believe so, that's what I was about to look at and see.
east of where I live, Lou,
Coming back
where the
towards town.
off-street, you just got off-street parking there for
Yeah,
those residents,
yeah.
where Caitlin lives.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it is, I have to double check the list here.
Because other than that section and what, the 3 parking lots that are,
Yeah,
3 or 4 that are
below
down
me,
through
you've
there?
got the three.
Yeah, well,
the three
you
parking.
live up there, is it a problem when you're right in that area?
Is what a problem.
Like if we're running the street sweeper on the day where people can park where it opens up past that parking, I mean, obviously you got the parking lot across the street, but,
I don't know.
okay.
I think we're
It
looking
opens
from,
up on Third Street right at my house too, a little bit more.
All right,
Which you could do that.
we'll look into it, and if you all hear anything, just let me know.
Okay.
We have time.
I mean, the purpose of the street sweeper, though, is to keep the cleanouts
It is.
clean. And
Yes.
we can't just say, we're not gonna sweep the street because nobody wants to move their car. I mean, it needs to be more than just, I don't want the street sweeper. I mean, we've got to get those cleanouts clean or else the
I
pipes
agree.
don't work and sewer gas goes everywhere and.
I agree, Commissioner, and I think if it is a narrow street, maybe where there isn't any adjacent parking, I think you all can take that into consideration. As Commissioner McKay stated, you look at Florence, Central, and Buckner, you can park around the corner on the opposite side. There's plenty of room there.
Right, and.
But yes, the whole goal is to keep the storm drains clean and the
and
debris
maybe
off the
they-
street.
And maybe they sweep, those certain areas, maybe they sweep them during the day when people are at work or something. But I was, during the snow, I was amazed at how many cars had 10 inches of snow on them for weeks. And, sometimes people are just gonna have to move their car and get out of the way. And I don't mean to offend anybody,
Yeah.
but we gotta keep those cleanouts clean.
You're not offending me, I've had a ticket.
Okay. Lisa, delete this part of the recording so nobody can blame me for.
Okay,
tickets.
but keep me in the loop if y'all hear anything from citizens.
Well, and I appreciate the street sweeper for the dust and then the weeds that grow in
Yes.
the dust that settles there,
Yes.
so.
Yes, it will.
Thank you all. Discussion, birthplace of bourbon trademark.
Caitlin, you're up, honey.
Peter Pogue alerted us back in May of 2024 that Woodford County had filed a petition for the birthplace of bourbon, Woodford County Tourist Commission. They have a logo and a website about the birthplace of bourbon, and Peter has been tracking this because he has filed opposition in other cases where other entities tried to file this same trademark. It is on Old Pogue's bottles, and they use it in their marketing. Scott County and Georgetown, Kentucky Tourism has also been tracking it. They use it as a marketing tool to attract people to come to their town. They have a marker that says the birthplace of bourbon in the middle of their town, and they've used some marketing dollars for some images that they have. There has always kind of been a gentleman's agreement, is what I've been told, that no one would trademark it, and Woodford County went ahead and did so. Normally, there is a period of opposition in a trademark case, but this time it's a secondary trademark, and they were awarded it, and now there is a 5-year limit or 5-year term where you can petition to cancel. Peter Pogue reached out and asked if we would support him in this petition. He has gone ahead and petitioned already. Scott County and Georgetown, Kentucky is interested in also joining a petition or doing their own petition. And I'll kind of let Kelly take over because he knows more of the legal terms. I don't want to say anything but Maysville, Mason County is not interested in trademarking the birthplace of bourbon.
Talk about the state.
Yep. We don't think anyone should hold that trademark. That's a kind of agreement with a few distilleries and Senator West and William Lawrence. We all talked, and 4 different tourist commissions throughout the state. If we are successful, or if Peter is the only one right now, is successful in the petition to cancel, the tourist commissions are going to approach the state tourism office to trademark the birthplace of bourbon, so that this kind of ends the argument all across the state of Kentucky. We believe that the state of Kentucky is the birthplace of bourbon, and everybody has their own story, and unfortunately we feel that this might take our ability to tell our history in the future away. So, Kelly, did I miss anything?
Yeah, so we spoke with an attorney, Jack Wheat,
Yeah.
who specializes in trademark and patent law. And basically what we can, if it's the will of the commission, if you wish to support Peter Pogue in his petition to cancel the trademark that was granted, then I think you just need to let us know that's you want to support his petition or not. And if so, then I can get in touch with Peter and figure out legally what we need to do to sign on and say we, as the city of Maysville, support his petition to cancel.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's all I have.
They did say it would be helpful for tourist commissions to join in because you can use trademarks differently. So the Woodford County filed it as a advertising tourist
The tourism.
mechanism, and Peter is more of commerce and sales.
Well, I'll move that we support your efforts.
Okay,
I'll
so,
second it.
okay, so I'll get with Peter Pogue at your all's, direction and figure out what it takes for the city of Maysville to sign on in support of his petition to cancel the trademark that was granted to Woodford County.
You have a motion and a second, Mayor. Do you want to?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cox?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And are you ready for our ordinance?
Discussion on the next one? Yes. On the omnibus? Yeah, so I presented to you all that ordinance last month that had multiple ordinance changes. I just wanted to see if there was anything else that you wanted to amend. I know Kelly's working on it. If there was anything else you wanted to change, because I'd like to bring that to you in April for a first reading.
Change in the budget?
No. The ordinances. Last month, there was, 5 or 6 ordinances that we talked about that we were proposing to change to clean up the book a little bit. Was there anything else?
I don't know, but I read that then, we'll have till April, so I can go.
Oh,
back
yeah.
and look at it.
We wouldn't have the
Yeah.
first reading till April,
I'm
yeah.
not giving you a yes on that
Okay,
We'll
that's
have a
fine.
draft for you
Okay.
next month.
yet. Okay.
But if you all think of anything else you'd like to add, let me know or bring it up at the next meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Skyline Drive rezoning.
Yes, this is, right now, this is discussion only. The Planning Commission has conducted a public hearing for this rezoning. And they approved that rezoning request 6-1. You all have been given a copy of the findings of fact and the recommendation of law. So the only thing I'm going to tell you is, I hope you've read it and try to keep your questions to that record. Because if you uphold the decision from the Planning Commission, you would be relying on the record to make your decision. Okay? The other option is to conduct a public hearing. Well, the applicant and the citizens have already been afforded a public hearing. You can, but we've never done that before, and neither has the fiscal court. We've always relied on the record to make a decision. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to George and just let him brief you on it.
Sure. So, as you all may know, Bruce Carlson has been restoring the Stanley Reed House, which was also known as the Newdigate Tavern 100+ years ago. He has a vision, or you could say multiple visions for the property. The simplest of which is he wants to operate like a bed and breakfast / tavern there. It gets more elaborate than that, but really what the Planning Commission was concerned with was his request to rezone it from R1A single family residential to B1 general business. That's what's required for him to kind of pursue the tavern and the bed and breakfast. Without the tavern, he could potentially do the bed and breakfast without the zoning, but after the public hearing, he was concerned about some of the public's comments, but he and his attorney agreed they want to pursue they want you to make the final decision. Actually, there was a submission from an aggrieved party. One of the gentlemen that was present at the public hearing, I think there's a letter you all have seen where he expressed his concerns about potential negative externalities there. Normally, this would just become, if no one complained or you all didn't want to, it would just, by operation of law, it would the rezoning would become official 21 days after the Planning Commission meeting's final action, which was last Wednesday. So yeah, do you all have any questions about it?
No, I have read the facts and findings. I've been up there and seen it, and I'm willing to stand behind our planning commission and accept I think he's doing marvelous things up there. I think it's a historic house and it needs to be preserved, and I think he's gonna do it wonderfully. That's
Any other-
my opinion.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Mayor? From the commission, excuse me.
Well, I attended both the meetings and everybody felt that way about it. So I'm good with it.
Plan too.
All right, we will have the first reading of the ordinance on the April 10th agenda. You all have 90 days to make a decision from the time that the record was approved by the planning commission.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
To address real quick on this, or is that not, doesn't fit in?
The only thing I would be concerned about, Bruce, if there was any new testimony that came out, that would be my concern. And obviously, you have your attorney present with you.
Can I hand out the new plans or not?
If it, I wouldn't, yeah, because it probably deviates from, Robin might have, I understand though, Bruce, I get it. Yeah, Robin?
My only question was there a formal vote to limit this versus as the McDonald v. City of Louisville? So are we saying, no, we're not opening it up to a second hearing?
That is up to them, Robin. That would be up to him. Now, they can conduct another public hearing,
I'm just saying it
obviously.
needs to be voted on one way or the other, that issue, before we proceed to a reading of an ordinance.
I mean, you could have them, I don't know that we've done that. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying we've done that in the past, but basically, there's two options. You either rely on the record from the planning commission, or you conduct your own public hearing and come up with findings of fact that differ from the planning commission.
From what I'm hearing is that the commission is all in favor of
Right.
approving.
I would recommend they go on the record, Robin.
And that's why I was just asking
Yeah.
for a formal vote, so that
I'll
if
def-
there is any challenge,
I'll
that it's
defer to
clear
Kelly
you
on
voted
that.
to abide by the record.
I'll defer to you on that one.
I mean,
What it is there has, the city of, or I think it's McDonald be the city of Louisville.
It is.
Requires that
Yes.
there be an actual vote that says, we will defer to and adopt the record from the planning commission without taking another testimonial hearing.
that will be in the preamble to the ordinance that we read.
It must be voted on. So are you saying?
They're gonna vote on it.
Well, but also, Robin, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna uphold it.
No, I
They could
understand
overturn
that.
it with a resolution and basically deny it.
That's why the vote has to be separate from whatever resolution it is my point.
Well, but they could do that with a public hearing as well. They could also, at the end of the public hearing, have a resolution that says, we overturn.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm saying, nobody knows how to prepare for the next.
Oh, okay, you're saying if there was a public hearing, I understand what he's saying now. He would wanna be prepared for another public hearing, is what he's getting at. I understand that now, I get it. Yeah. Exactly, I understand. I get it, Kelly.
I get
He's
it
right,
too,
yeah.
I get it too, but I mean, what I'm hearing is that I'm gonna prepare a ordinance approving what's been done, and
My recommendation to the body would be to rely on the record. That would be my recommendation.
and it's not our intent to hold a new public hearing
Correct.
next month.
I'm not changing my
Is that-
vote.
Is that your motion?
Satisfactory?
That's your
my
motion, there's a
I'm
mo,
not changing
there's a
my vote.
motion to rely on the record. Is there a second?
Oh, yeah, second.
There's a second. Mayor?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Good point, and we'll remember that going forward. That is a good point.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
Motion to approve the
Pesky
FY 2024 audit.
All right, I'm gonna briefly go over, we had an audit committee meeting on, earlier in the week, Monday or Tuesday, I believe. The audit committee consisted of Commissioner Wood and Mayor Cottrell. We met with, representatives from Baldwin CPAs. And just to give you the 50,000 foot level, it's a clean opinion. There were 0 non-compliance issues. When you look at the long-term picture of our finances, we increased our net position by $1.8 million, which is a good thing. And this basically came from a decrease in the net pension liability that went down. So we're not on the hook for as much anymore. And also in capital investments. When you look at the short term, and you look at, an actual snapshot of where we ended, we were actually $1.4 million in the red. Now, let me break that down for you. That 1.4 million, I would say 1.3, 1.3 and a half, was a transfer to the utility department. Out of that 1.4, half of it was ARPA funds, which was money we received. So if you look at if you look at the snapshot, the general fund was balanced. But we were technically $700,000 in the red because of a transfer to the utility fund. So it was a good audit. It was a really good audit. Anything you'd add?
No, I mean, it was clean, it went as expected, nothing was out of the ordinary. And seeing that it was clean, I mean, that's the biggest concern. The net pension liability going down is a big thing, and hopefully that signs to come forward that the state is better on top of that will continue to come down some. And then just the fact that I think the thing that Matt didn't say is that from a budget standpoint, we were technically under budget overall, even though our budget was to spend more than we brought in. But we didn't spend as much as our budget allowed for, so we technically at the end had a savings in the budget, even though it was in the red. So
just.
Oh, sorry, did the committee meet with the auditors?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Were there any communications to management?
No.
Okay.
Commissioner, Mayor, is there anything you'd want to add?
I just want to make sure that, to clarify what he was saying so that everybody understands that when we budgeted using carryover funds to balance our budget. And what Joseph's saying, we didn't use all of that carryover funds like we had planned to. We actually came in under what we anticipated, in a better position than we had anticipated. And we did have a private conversation with the auditors, but I'll let Andrew speak to.
Which part of the private conversation
Well,
would you like me to tell you?
Well, just that we dug a little deeper and just asked for suggestions, and everything was very positive from them, so that we were in good position.
Every year I give the auditors a chance to either make suggestions or to let us know if there's anything maybe under the surface that needs to be addressed.
Which we would want to know.
Anybody, any problems with any personnel, any procedures, anything we need to do different. And every year it's the same thing. It's one of the cleanest audits that they run. This is a great place to do an audit, and that continued this year. So it's really nice to get that report with the staff running out of the room that this really is a well-run city financially. So thank you for that, Joseph and Matt.
Yeah, and Mayor and Commissioners, I'd like to take this time real quick to, I want to thank Joseph for his hard work on it. He did a great job, and for those who don't know, he is leaving us. Tomorrow will be his last day, but I appreciate the time you've given us and the help that you've provided. You've really helped me a lot and shown me a lot of things, and I'm very appreciative of that.
And even going on to having the budget, working on that before you leave, all those extra efforts are truly appreciated, Joseph.
Thank you.
So Mayor, we will need a motion to approve the fiscal year 24 audit so that so that we can send it to the Department for Local Government.
I'd like to make that motion.
I will second it. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing Safe Haven Baby Box, 25-11.
Resolution authorizing Safe Haven Baby Box. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all documents necessary for the establishment, placement, and maintenance of a Safe Haven Baby Box in the City of Maysville, Kentucky.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing letter of engagement with Baldwin CPAs 25-12.
Resolution authorizing audit engagement letter with Baldwin CPAs PLLC. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to sign the audit engagement letter with Baldwin CPAs LLC.
I'll entertain a motion.
Are there terms for that, Matt?
Yeah, the only change in this is that they took out the single audit, which they thought they were gonna have to do. This is for what you just approved. They had to take that out because they didn't have to do a single audit, which is if we use federal funds that
So
exceed
it was-
$750,000.
And it goes to $1 million next year.
Yeah, that's the only change in that audit engagement letter. That's all they did was take out
Okay.
the single audit.
So this is just approving this.
Yes, that's for that. That's for this fiscal year that you just approved.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Closed session pursuant of KRS 61.8101F, discussion which might lead to the appointment of an individual employee, and 61.8101G, discussion between a public entity and a representative of a business entity.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Luke, you're first.
go back into session.
Hold on, David, hold on. Motion to go back, return from, okay?
I need a
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wood.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmell?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, sir.
Appointment and tourism is what I have next. Hold on. Dear Mayor and Commissioners, after an extensive interview process and careful evaluation of candidates, I am pleased to recommend Taylor Hunt for the position of Tourism Assistant and Events Coordinator for the City of Maysville. Taylor stood out among all applicants as the best candidate to fill this role due to her strong background in content creation, marketing, and event coordination, as well as her enthusiasm for promoting Maysville. Taylor brings a diverse skill set in writing, graphic design, and social media marketing, which aligns seamlessly with the responsibilities of this position. In her current role as a graphic designer for Champion Media, she has developed expertise in advertising, layout design, and digital content creation, which will translate well to managing tourism campaigns, promotional materials, and community outreach. Additionally, her experience as a feature writer demonstrates her ability to craft compelling narratives that engage audiences, an invaluable skill for showcasing Maysville as a destination. Beyond her technical abilities, Taylor's strong work ethic, adaptability, and teamwork make her an excellent fit for our organization. She is eager to grow in this role and contribute meaningfully to our tourism initiatives. I am confident that Taylor will be an asset to Maysville's tourism efforts, bringing fresh ideas, strong organizational skills, and a collaborative spirit to the role. I respectfully request the City Commission's approval to hire Taylor Hunt for this position. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Caitlin Bailey, Tourism Director.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmell?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, sir.
And Mayor, next we have an appointment in Public Works. This is from Public Works Director Luke King. I would like to recommend Draven Rout to fill the position of skilled laborer. I am confident Draven will be a great asset to Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmell?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, sir.
One last thing, real quick,
Yes.
and I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier.
We had a meeting on Friday with Western Kentucky University regarding the mountain workshops that they do. They have been doing this for 50 years, and it is a program with their photography students, or it's actually, I spoke to someone today that took it when they were at UK through WKU, but they come to town and they will take over a city for an entire week. So they'll stay a Saturday through Saturday, and they'll have about 40 to 50 instructors and 70 students, and each student is assigned someone in the community, and they follow them for an entire week and basically do like a documentary but through photos. They also, one of their instructors is one of James Cameron's top videographers or documentary videographers. He'll fly in from wherever he is around the world and create a documentary of the entire week of these students and these instructors. They've been thinking about coming to Maysville for quite a long time, and they decided for their 50th anniversary that they would come to Maysville and celebrate. So we're working, Matt, Owen, Tyler, Casey Compton, and I met with the group on Friday, and I spent the majority of the day with them, walking them around downtown and showing them different amenities that the community has that their students and their instructors would be able to utilize, and they have chosen to come to Maysville in October. So we're really excited to have them. We'll be working with Tom Eblem, and he is retired from the Lexington Herald, and he will be helping us choose these different people. Their team will choose who these people are that they're going to feature, and we will be suggesting. But they're looking for people from all walks of life of Maysville. They want to make sure that everyone, it's a true representation of who makes up Maysville and Mason County. And the Cox Building will be their headquarters for an entire week, and we're really happy to support them and have them come to Maysville. The book will be done a year from October, and they will provide the community with 150 copies. We can purchase additional copies if we so choose to, and then they will also bring all the photographs to Maysville, and there will be a reception where we can view all the students' work.
If you have time, Google Mountain Workshop. I believe it's mountainworkshop.org. Take a look at their website, and it'll kind of give you an idea of what they would be doing. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, Tom Evelyn is one of the drivers of it. He was the editor of the Herald Leader. So, I don't know who you're talking to, but
It was him.
Oh, was it?
Tom? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He was here. Good job. Mayor Commissioners, that was the only other thing I had that I'd forgotten earlier.
I want to introduce Elizabeth and Colin.
Hello.
They are new
Hi,
to
Elizabeth.
Maysville, sort of. They bought 4 properties on West Second Street, and they're working on every one of them.
You're working on what, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
You didn't listen,
I'm
you
sorry.
talking.
Yeah.
They bought 4 properties on West Second Street,
Good.
and they're the ones that bought 504, the old Kehoe house that everybody's wanting to know
Good.
about, and they're
Fantastic.
working on every one of those properties, and they're my neighbors.
Yes, we are
Yes.
very.
Glad to have you. And we want to be an asset to you all, so if you have questions on anything, reach out to us here.
Well, thanks to Ann, that's why we're here. She invited us and told us we should be part of the community
Yes.
since we are doing a lot of things in the community. One correction I will make is we do have 6 properties on Second Street.
Great.
And yes, we are very proud neighbors and happy neighbors to be across from Ann. We definitely love Maysville. What brought us here is the love of Maysville. Initially, actually, we just came on a singular project, just a way to get away, and we just wanted a quiet town because we are doing business in the big cities, Florida, Georgia, lots of noise and everything happening. And then we just sort of was looking for, where can we go and have a quick getaway and silence the noise? And we pulled out a map one day, and well, we're very adventurous. I should lead with that. We sort of always look for ways to explore the U.S. I should say we are both immigrants. My husband has been here a lot longer than I have. He migrated to the U.S. With his parents when he was about 10, and then I came by way of him when I was 20. Yes, we did get married when I was 20. Don't tax his age. And so, but one of the things is, of course, exploring the U.S., which is our home, and we love the U.S. But sometimes we would sort of just pick places just by the map. And we so happened to pull the map out and sort of put a dot there, and it's like, let's just go to Maysville. And we came, and I must say our initial introduction was amazing. Definitely love the people, love the vibes, love everything. And ironically, it feels a lot like where we're from, because in the Caribbean, you have that vibe where you know your neighbors, you can knock on your neighbor door and you exchange conversation and things, and it feels very much more enclosed versus in the big cities, well, we barely know our neighbors. So we definitely love that, and it turned into the singular venture. We did our home, and then we saw some business opportunities. We met Ann, who has given us some great resources and tips, and all the other folks we met around the community as well. That has been very encouraging, and we're very pleased to be here today. I heard a lot of things that are great, and I love all the developments and everything I'm hearing, and we just hope to be able to add to that. So if you guys need anything from us, we're more than welcome to put ourselves at work and give our input, and in any way we can help. Because Maysville is now our community. We have 2 little ones that I am very much happy that they are here, and I look to encourage them being here a lot, because I feel this is more the environment I want to raise them in and silence a lot of that big city noise. So yeah, anything we can help, please reach out and let us know.
Our expertise, by the way, is construction. We're real estate developers. We do it in Florida and Georgia, mainly. There are 2 main markets. But our expertise is construction and development, from ground up, build up. So that's kind of where we are, expertise-wise. And so, as she said,
But we have some
can
other
do.
skills, some designs, and
Design, she's
all the elements
extremely
we're
great
in
at
there, but that's the
designs.
core of what we do.
She's actually our in-house architect,
Thank you.
designer. So, to reiterate what she said, anything we
Welcome. We're glad to have you.
And thank you guys for welcoming us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks for
We're
coming.
glad to have you in the community.
It's a beautiful area, beautiful community.
And thanks, Anne,
and
for
beautiful
introducing
people.
us.
Thank you all.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure we'll be seeing a lot of you.
Thanks.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Good. Fantastic.
I need a motion, Mr. Judge.
Next motion, adjourn.
Okay, hold on. Commissioner Brammer, Commissioner Wood,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell, Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay, Mayor Cotter.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.